With over 100 billion Earth-like planets out there in the Milky Way, it seems more likely than ever that we aren't alone. So today, let's talk about some of the latest discoveries from the hunt for exoplanets. And to find out just how likely we are to be alone in the universe, you will definitely want to stick around for the end. Welcome to my channel. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of exoplanets. So if you love all things space and science, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode. As of February 2024, NASA's confirmed discovery of 5,500 exoplanets, but experts believe that the true number is closer to at least 50 billion. And yes, that's billion with a B. Our planetary system, the Milky Way, is just one tiny part of the vast universe, a pinprick of light in an endless expanse. And yet within this small corner of the cosmos, we've already discovered thousands of worlds that revolve around stars beyond our own. But what really makes these exoplanets so captivating? Well, it's the tantalizing possibility that among them we might just find another Earth, a place that could harbor life. Scientists have devised clever ways to spot these distant worlds, by observing the dimming of starlight as a planet passes in front of it, or by noticing the subtle wobble in a star's motion caused by the gravitational pull of an orbiting planet. These methods have allowed us to identify exoplanets even when they are incredibly far away. In fact, scientists have even discovered an exoplanet that's located in the habitable zone of its star, meaning that it could potentially support life. It's called Kepler-442b, and it's about 1,200 light-years away from Earth. That's a pretty big step forward in the search for life elsewhere in the universe. But while the discovery of these exoplanets is exciting, it's just the beginning. Scientists are now working hard to learn more about these distant worlds, including whether or not they could actually support life. One way they're doing this is by studying the atmospheres of exoplanets. By analyzing the light that passes through an exoplanet's atmosphere, scientists can look for signs of life such as oxygen or methane. So far, they haven't found any definitive signs of life, but the search is still ongoing. And then there's the question of whether or not life could have evolved on an exoplanet in the first place. Even if a planet has the right conditions for life, it doesn't necessarily mean that life would have evolved in the same way that it did on Earth. Scientists are still trying to understand the complex conditions that led to the evolution of life here on our planet, and they'll need to learn a lot more about exoplanets before they can say for sure whether life could evolve elsewhere in the universe. So, while the discovery of exoplanets is a huge step forward in our understanding of the universe, the question of whether or not we are alone is still very much open. It's a question that has kept scientists and philosophers alike up at night for centuries. Is there another world out there that is exactly like ours, with life thriving and civilizations flourishing? Or are we truly alone in this vast universe? But before we dive into the heart of the matter, I want to take you on a journey through the incredible discoveries that have brought us to this point. Buckle up for an adventure that will make you question everything you thought you knew about the universe. Imagine a massive star suddenly losing a chunk of its mass. Now picture the remaining portion of the star collapsing in on itself, creating a black hole in the process. What you've just imagined is actually a real astronomical phenomenon known as a core collapse, and it plays a significant role in the formation of our planetary systems. Scientists believe that our Sun was formed through a core collapse event. As a result, our solar system likely started off as a giant disk of dust and gas that was slowly pulled together by gravity. Over millions of years, this disk of material flattened and began to spin, eventually forming the Sun and the planets we know today. But wait, there's more. Recent research suggests that this process of core collapse may also be responsible for the creation of exoplanets. According to a study published in the journal Nature Astronomy, the presence of a large disk of debris around a young star could help trigger the collapse of the surrounding gas and dust. This forms a disc-shaped cloud that acts like a gigantic cosmic blender, whipping the material into a frenzy. As the material clumps together, it creates a swirling disk of rocks and dust. And guess what? This is the building blocks of exoplanets. But how do scientists know that this process is happening around other stars? Well, thanks to a technique known as direct imaging, astronomers can actually see the disks of debris around young stars, With this new understanding of how exoplanets form, scientists are one step closer to answering the age-old question, are we alone? If there are billions of solar systems out there that formed in the same way as ours, then there could be countless planets that are capable of supporting life. Just think about it. If we are truly alone in this vast universe, then the chances of our solar system randomly producing the conditions necessary for life to flourish would be incredibly small. However, if the formation of life is a natural and inevitable outcome of the physical laws of the universe, then the chances of life arising elsewhere are much greater. By studying exoplanets, we are essentially searching for signs of life elsewhere in the universe. And the more we learn about the conditions that led to the evolution of life on Earth, the better equipped we'll be to identify planets that could support life. Speaking of which, there's a new kid on the block that's making waves in the exoplanet detection game. Meet Nancy Grace Roman, the Space Telescope. Yep, you heard it right. This baby is equipped with a wide field camera that can capture a whopping 100 times more area of the sky in a single field of view compared to its predecessor, the Hubble Space Telescope. But that's not all. Nancy Grace Roman also boasts an infrared instrument that's set to revolutionize the way we detect exoplanets. Using the transit method, this telescope will be able to spot tiny dips in the brightness of distant stars, which could indicate the presence of exoplanets. And here's where things get really cool. Nancy Grace Roman's infrared capabilities will allow it to peer through clouds of dust where planets are forming, giving us a glimpse into the birthplaces of exoplanets. This telescope is a true game changer, and we can't wait to see what it uncovers. There's been a recent surge in the discovery of extremely hot gas giants orbiting very close to their stars. These planets, often referred to as hot Jupiters, are more than twice the size of Jupiter and complete their orbits in just a few days. You heard that right? Days, not years. One such exoplanet is WASP-39b, which orbits its star every 7.1 days. And let's just say it's not your average planet. WASP-39b is so close to its star that gravity actually pulls it into a stretchy shape. Yeah, it's not a perfect sphere like Earth. In fact, it's so close that it's nearly 700 degrees Celsius on the side facing its star. But hold on to your space helmets because WASP-39b has a secret. It has an atmosphere with clouds of vaporized rock and metals. And get this, scientists think it could have a thick, cloudy atmosphere similar to Earth's, which could potentially support life. Of course, it's extremely unlikely that life could evolve under such harsh conditions. But hey, stranger things have happened. Researchers from the University of Toronto have recently used a novel machine learning algorithm to analyze data from the James Webb Space Telescope. Their goal was to identify exoplanets that have the potential to support life. And guess what? They found some promising candidates. One of the most exciting discoveries was WASP-39b. Using JWST, scientists were able to confirm the presence of water in the planet's atmosphere. While it's unlikely that life could exist on such a hot and volatile planet, it does raise intriguing questions about the potential for life on other exoplanets. Now, you might be thinking, why is it so important to find life on other planets? I mean, we've got enough problems here on Earth, right? Well, discovering life elsewhere in the universe would have profound implications for our understanding of the cosmos. It would mean that life is not just a rare fluke on Earth, but a common occurrence throughout the universe. Think about the implications of that. We would no longer be alone in the universe. We would be part of a vast cosmic community. But that's not all. Finding life on other planets would also help us understand our place in the universe. We would learn that we are not special, that there are other planets out there with their own unique forms of life. It would humble us and remind us that we are all connected. But don't worry, if we don't find life elsewhere in the universe, we'll still be pretty awesome. Just saying. I'm sorry to report that the jury is still out on whether or not we are truly alone in the universe. But thanks to the tireless efforts of astronomers and researchers, we're getting closer to finding an answer. Who knows? Maybe one day soon we'll discover a world that's exactly like Earth, or maybe even one that's better. If you enjoyed this journey through the wonders of the universe, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And hey, if you're hungry for more knowledge, check out our other videos. We've got all sorts of mind-blowing space content that's just waiting for you. Thanks for watching. Keep looking up, and I'll see you next time.